Well, welcome back. It is Small Business Saturday, and today we're diving into the world of imagination, storytelling, and art with Key Elements Comics in Wauseon. And owner Brett Wisda is joining us this morning. Brett, good morning to you. Thanks for making the trip out to Toledo, especially on a day when the marathon's getting set up. A lot of traffic downtown. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
All right, so I want to talk about this store. My first question really, Wauseon's not a very big community. I was there last night. And to have a comic book store in Wauseon, you told me you're a local homegrown Wauseon native. Tell me about the inspiration of starting a comic book store in your hometown.
So I was born in Wauseon, raised in Wauseon, and graduated from Wauseon High School. My whole thing was when initially I was wanting to open up this place, I looked at the surrounding places, and in reality, Wauseon's kind of just smack dab in the middle. You have about 20 to 30 minutes in every direction where you encounter another one. And growing up, it was always with my friends. We pretty much were always like, we would like to be able to go to these places, but being high schoolers and whatnot, necessarily we couldn't always make the trip in those directions all the time. So that was honestly probably one of the biggest factors.
Yeah. One of my hobbies is collecting sports cards. I love collecting that stuff. I've done it ever since I was a little kid. My dad inspired me when he collected them as a little kid. We share in the hobby together. What made comic books for you something that as a kid you just loved it and you gravitated toward it?
So for me, when I was about 8 is when I first started getting into comics. It was actually through my mom. We went to a comic book store down in Dayton, and the owner there, he was super generous, asked me if it was my first comic book. I said yes, and he's like, don't even worry about it. He's like, it's on the house. And at the time it was a Incredible Hulk comic. So that just, really opened up the whole gateway for me to really be into comics.
And you now take that sort of business practice into your own store now. You told me before we got going here that when a new customer, someone's fresh into the hobby, comes into your store, you give them their first comic for free.
So to elaborate on that just a little bit, it's one of those, our policy is when a kid comes in, if they've never had a comic book and their parents have always, pretty much tell us that like they've always wanted to, it's just, for us, we see it as just the right thing to do. So we make sure that it's not like a super expensive comic, but if it's a $3.99, around their comic, we'll just give it to them.
It's a thought that counts, and you inspire the next generation to want to keep the hobby alive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about the store here. You told me before we got going that you opened at a time right before pretty much the entire world came to a screeching halt.
So at the time I was working in healthcare. And we spent about a full year before we actually even opened our doors, preparing, to open and everything. And then about a month or two after is really when COVID started kind of being thrown around. And just being in the healthcare industry, we were able to prepare a little bit faster than others, but at the same time, it was very much, it knocked everybody on their boots, because other stores, were closing, and, the mandated non-essential closes were really a big thing, and everybody was kind of trying to figure out their own path through that.
But now, fast forward to today, and coming up soon, you're going to be having a reopening, as I understand it. Tell the people at home right now what's been going on in the recent time, and what they can expect coming up soon.
So recently, we have really been kind of going further out there into the community. We did Wauseon's Homecoming and the Fulton County Fair, and it really opened our eyes up to that books are not just comics, but books are really big right now. So we were kind of making this decision already on the table of, do we open up a bookstore? So what we are pretty much going to be doing October 11th is we are splitting my retail space in half, where my partner will be opening Key and Quill bookstore, and I'm in a sense renovating Key Elements comic side for comics and gaming.
Yeah, and that's October 11th, correct?
Yes.
Where can people find your store in Wauseon? I know it's not a huge town, but where can they find you if they're looking for that address?
So we are located on South Fulton Street. If they know where the courthouse and DMV are, we're literally a stone throw right across the street from them. We don't have a huge sign, but we are hoping to get our new signage up and going before then. It's just a massive rush right now until between now and then.
I'm sure. Well, we're running out of time here, so now that we have you here, you're a comic book store owner, and there are lots of great superheroes out there. I got to know, who is your favorite superhero?
So for me, it'll always be Green Arrow.
Okay.
He was kind of the person that I expanded into the most. I own nearly every single issue that has ever been released for him, and even appearances and all that.
How about a least favorite? Do you have a least favorite superhero?
Oh, that's a controversy. That is a very rough question to answer, just because, truth be told, in my opinion, there is no bad superhero.
Yeah.
I think there are overinflated ones, but every hero goes through that at one point or another.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Brett, we really do appreciate you coming in on this Saturday morning from Wauseon here to downtown Toledo with the marathon getting set up. I know it was a little tricky to get here, but Brett, really a pleasure to talk to
Thank you.
And if you're a small business owner who wants to be featured on Small Business Saturday, you can send us an email at smallbusiness@WTOL.com.